Hi everybody, it's Mike. I'm one of the admins from the Moon Landing Hoax Facebook group. And today I'd like to represent live stream number 10. I recorded it yesterday, but the quality of the recording, specifically the text on the screen, wasn't presented very well. You couldn't read it. So I figured I'd re-record this one for the benefit of our audiences on Facebook and YouTube, and we're also on Gab and Twitter. So you can follow us on those pages. I'll get to that at the end. But for now, I want to talk about a particular Apollo photo. And the photo in question I'm going to show you is from Apollo-11, and it is Apollo photo AS11 40 5862. That's Apollo 11 magazine 40, photo number 5862. You can find it on the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal. That's on the nasa.gov website. I'm highlighting right here. And you can see it, AS11 40 5862. If you click it, boom, it'll show you the photo. And I've got a downloaded version of the photo right here you can see. Now, what is interesting about this photo? We're going to zoom in to this part right here. What is this right here? You see a pole, and you see what looks like a flag. Okay? Now, this photo anomaly was originally found out about by researcher Jack White in the early 2000s. He's got a page on allis.com, which is a great resource, by the way, if you want to investigate the moon landing hoax. So you go to allis.com/jackstudies, and you can find the Jack White anomalies discovered rather by Jack White that were published back in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, and then a legacy page is uploaded on allis.com. Okay, so he takes a look at this photo, zooms in, and notices that this looks like a flag. Now, why is this an issue? Because the official record says that for Apollo 11, astronauts Buzz Aldrin, who's photographed right here, and the person taking the photograph, which ostensibly would be Neil Armstrong, deployed the flag together. This sequence of photos, according to the official record, is when Neil got down and is photographing the exit from the alleged lunar module of Buzz Aldrin going down the ladder. Okay? Now, if the flag is shown in the window, that would mean that the flag is deployed too soon, and then that would be evidence that the official record is wrong. Okay, the record says that the astronauts deployed the flag together. Why is it already erected before Buzz Aldrin even descends from the lunar lander? Okay, so you can see the flag here. I'm going to show you some other photos as well, and I've downloaded these all from the records. You take a couple steps to the right, and you can see the flag, or what we're stating probably is the flag, and there's some dispute about that we're going to get into in a moment. But when we look right here, we can see the reflected lunar surface. I'll zoom in and show you. This is lunar surface. There's no flag present, right? It's just a bare reflection. And we can go forward in the record, and we can see right here, this photo, by the way, AS11 40 5863. You can see ostensibly Buzz Aldrin emerging from the lunar lander. We look up here, and there's no flag present. Well, why is that? Because the reflection is cast right from this window. There's a flag present ostensibly. Now, there's some debate about that. I'm going to get in and present both sides of the argument, of course. But you zoom in, and what is this right here? Well, we think, or Jack White thought back in the early 2000s, that was the flag. Now, we're going to get into something I've talked about on my prior live streams, the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal. Okay, this is what it looks like right here. You go to hq.nasa.gov, and this is a website on the nasa.gov site, rather, that has says it's edited by Eric M. Jones and Ken Glover. These are private parties. They use an email, Gmail address that you're supposed to, send your spotted errors to in the record. So if you spot errors, you're supposed to email, Eric and Ken Glover at Apollo-Lunar-Surface-Journal@gmail.com. Why isn't this, of course, a NASA.gov email? It's a Gmail account. But this is the most extensive record you're going to find on the internet. It's hosted on the NASA.gov website of the Apollo missions. The photos, the videos, everything you want to see is cataloged on this section, the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal of the NASA website. And interestingly enough, it says right on the front page, the journal is, in Neil Armstrong's words, a quote, living document and is constantly being modified and updated. Please don't hesitate to let us know about errors. We want to get it right, but sometimes that can take a while. We would like to thank everyone for their help and patience. You may email the editors concerning typos, factual errors, or general comments at apollolunarsurfacejournal@gmail.com. So what likely happened was, somebody, or Jack White, or somebody that followed Jack White at the time, noticed this, probably emailed the editors of the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal, and as it indicates right here, it's a living document, quote unquote. They edit it in real time and they add BS nonsense explanations for things. I'm going to show you because they just dig themselves a deeper hole when they get into their purported explanations for what we're looking at. So you go there, AS11 45862, the photo I showed you earlier. It says here, if you read it, that through the CDR's window, we can see the crash bar and a checklist cue card that's been stuck under the overhead window with gray tape, exclamation point. The same card can be seen right behind Neil, post-EVA portrait, photo number AS11 magazine 375528. So they provide a link there. We'll go to 5528, which is right here. And this is the photo. So they're saying this cue card you see is present in this photo right here, and it's taped right there. So that's a taped cue card in the window with, I guess, the crash bar. You can see it in the window is the ostensible excuse there. Well, if that's true, well, then why don't you see it here, right? You're taking steps to the side, and I don't see a cue card in the window. We just see the bare reflection of the lunar surface. So obviously the lunar surface is reflected from the window, but here you see an object that looks like the flag. Now maybe it's not the flag. This is not what we call smoking gun evidence, but it is interesting, right? And the reason I'm calling this to your attention is not to say, hey, this is proof the moon landings were faked, but to show you how NASA, through private parties on the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal, edit and modify the record in real time to come up with little nonsense excuses, right? So they're saying that's a cue card that they put to the window checklist and they taped it in the window. Why did they tape it in the window? You don't see it in the window on any of the other Apollo missions, and you don't even see it in any of the other photographs. You just see the lunar surface reflected from the window, right? Why is that? Isn't that interesting? The flag is not supposed to be deployed yet, yet you see it in this particular photo. And again, that's photo number AS11, magazine 405862. Isn't that fascinating? Okay. Now, the real evidence, by the way, that these missions, the photography for these missions are faked is because the lunar module, this side of it rather that I'm circling with my mouse cursor, this side had landed in shadow. And if it landed in shadow, that means that you're not going to be able to see the astronaut lit up like this, okay? You can see there's no lighting inside the lunar module. It's dark inside, but the back side of him here is lit up. The whole back side, or this would be the front side, the front of the lunar module. But my point is that this is in shadow, okay? I'm going to show you an example of that. My website, I have categorized and cataloged many of the Apollo lunar photos. This is on my article titled on Musty Boomer Lunacy. It's on my website, stratagemsoftheright.blogspot.com. And you can see the astronaut is in shadow right here. Okay, this is the ladder going up. And you can see right here, why is the astronaut illuminated, okay? The reason why is because they brought studio lighting, either a light or a reflector panel, to get the astronaut in the shot and light him up, right? Now, the official record says that no studio lighting or artificial lighting was taken to the moon. This is supposed to be lit by the sun. And if it's lit by the sun, just like you see in this photograph, ES11405894, well, this is correct, right? If we're standing in shadow, the astronaut's going to appear dark, just like we see in the right photo, right? But why in the left photo, all of a sudden, do you see the astronaut lit up? In fact, you can even see the hot spot from the reflectivity, right? It's right here. You can see it on the boot. This is evidence of studio lighting. Now, what our trolls like to say is they like to go to the Mythbusters, right? They did a special on this, and they debunked, of course, the notion that this was, photographed in a studio. But of course, the problem was when they photographed the astronaut, because what they did is Mythbusters, they took a model astronaut and they photographed him in a similar scenario and said, aha, this astronaut is lit up just like it was on Apollo. But the problem was they used a miniature scale model, and the guy was wearing a giant white shirt. And what was happening was the light was bouncing off of his white shirt and reflecting upon the astronaut to light him up, the mini model that they had of the lunar module and the astronaut. But even when it was reflecting off his shirt, it wasn't as brightly lit up as it is here. So yeah, like what our trolls like to say is that the albedo, meaning the surface reflectivity of the ground, is causing this astronaut to be lit. But if that's true, it's going to be lit over here in the right photo here, right? So the difference is they're not using the studio lighting in the right photo. They are in the left because this was a famous, more important photo, I guess. So that's why they put the reflector panels or lighting to illuminate the astronaut. Now, another excuse our trolls like to bring up is, that the white suit from Neil Armstrong's, from Neil Armstrong's suit is illuminating the astronaut here. So this is Buzz Aldrin. Neil Armstrong's taking the picture. The lighting from the sun is hitting Neil and then bouncing off Neil's suit and illuminating the astronaut, okay? The problem with that is there are numerous photographers who have analyzed this scene, and there was a famous one, Massimo Mazzucco, who did one of the most famous documentaries on the moon landing hoax called American Moon, and he interviewed a bunch of fashion photographers, and the fashion photographers all said, they asked him, hey, can you light up the astronaut from the brightness of the suit being reflected on this guy? And the answer is, of course, no. All the astronauts said no. The size of the astronaut would not be enough to cause the reflectivity to reflect and light up this entire spacecraft like this. This is all brightly lit up. And there's a lot of examples in the Apollo record of this. You can go to, for example, Apollo 14 is probably the most famous one. Well, check this one out right here. I show exactly how objects are supposed to be when you photograph them into the sun, right? It's supposed to be a silhouette. This I took in a parking lot, you can see. The parking lot's even illuminated, right? Because the sun isn't completely down. It was still bright out when I took this picture at a Gold's Gym, and this was the parking lot. There's even lighting, right? The parking lot's lit up, yet the whole building is still dark, right? And the sun is directly behind the building. And you can see in Apollo 12 they had it right. You see how dark the lunar module is, right? Well, we have to look at inconsistencies, right? If you're going to argue the albedo, the ground, is reflecting, bouncing up, and illuminating the lunar module, or the astronaut suit is acting as a de facto reflector, bouncing off the astronaut suit and hitting the lunar module, right? Well, then in this photo, it should be lit up too, right? Why is it not lit up in this photo and it's lit up in this one? Well, the answer, of course, is because this was recorded or filmed in photographed in a studio, right? So the light, a reflector panel or lighting is being used to fill in the light on the lunar module. And the exact same thing is happening right here. You can see in the Apollo record, I'll go back again to Apollo-11. I've got many examples of the wrongness, if you will, in these photographs. There we go, right here again. You can see it's standing in shadow. So if it's standing in shadow, you're not going to be able to see the astronaut. It's going to be dark like the photo on the right, not like the photo on the left. And the inconsistency proves that this was photographed in a studio. But, you know, the reason, like I said, why I bring up the flag here is not necessarily to show that this is evidence of fraud, because, maybe this really is the cue card taped in there. It doesn't look like it to me, but if that's the case, you got to explain why you don't see it in the other photos. But what's interesting, like I said, just in recap, is why they have this official nonsense explanation that they put in here post hoc after Jack White had discovered it. So Jack White discovers it, boom, they publish some nonsense excuse in the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal, and that's how NASA covers their track. So I thought you guys might find that interesting. I hope you like these live streams. I'm going to put them up on our YouTube page, as well as our Facebook page where I'm recording this live from. Now I do want to show you our Facebook page real quick before I go. It is the Moon Landing Hoax. So if you're watching us on YouTube, come over here and be a member, because this is a public group. This is where all the action is. We're at close to 42,000 members. So if the 325 of you on YouTube come join us, then we'll very quickly get up to 42,000, and wouldn't that be great? Now on the Facebook page, we have in our featured section a list of documentaries. Okay, American Moon by Massimo Mazzucco is on there. You can click and watch that. Now the reason I'm bringing this up is YouTube shadows us, the Moon Landing Hoax Group, because we have our own YouTube channel page. And it also censors all these documentaries. So if you go to our Facebook group, the Moon Landing Hoax, and you click featured, you'll be able to watch any of these awesome documentaries. We got great information on our Facebook group page. Please join us and click over, and we hope to see you there. Now I'm going to show you our YouTube page. So how do you find us on YouTube? Okay. Now I've got this logged into an alternate account. You literally have to type in MLH Livestream number 5. If you type Apollo, or you type Moon Landing Hoax, which is the name of our group and YouTube page, you won't find us. All you'll find is a bunch of debunking videos, okay? And you will not find evidence of a hoax. It's just the so-called moon landing hoax. Did we really land on the moon? If you click this, the answer will be yes. you won't see anything to do with evidence that we present in our group, because they control YouTube, and who they is I don't know, but they do not want you to know that the moon landings were a hoax. So you have to literally type in MLH live stream number 5. That's something I found to find us. And then there you go. You found our group. You can click and take a look at us. We've got 325 subscribers now. And I've got 9 live streams uploaded and a bunch of other videos on the YouTube channel. And I'll upload this live stream to YouTube as well soon. So hope you guys are having a great day. Enjoy the live stream. I'll upload it on YouTube soon. And we'll see you again for MLH live stream number 11 when I do that one. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye now.